Welcome to the new series I'm calling Story Time with Reaper. I've had a pretty wild life, which has produced a lot of pretty cool stories, so I wanted to create this series to share some of those stories with you. This particular story takes place like 11, 12 years ago when I was about 16 years old. Now, I've been riding and racing dirt bikes pretty much my entire life. I started when I was 3 years old and started racing when I was 4. But I didn't race a lot of motocross. I grew up racing speedway. For those of you that don't know what speedway is, it's pretty similar to flat track, but it's way gnarlier. They don't have any brakes. They only turn left. It's pretty gnarly. But today's story is about when I broke my back on a motocross track. Since I grew up racing speedway, I wasn't super used to racing motocross, and I actually tried to avoid it most of my life. It wasn't until I was about 15 years old that I start to fall in love with like the motocross style of racing. I started riding a little motocross here and there, and I met some cool people in the process. One of the people I met, he was super fast. He held some national titles. He rode for Cowie at the time. He was just crazy fast. One day he asked me if I wanted to go to the track that I'm on now, Hangtown, as we lived pretty close to it at the time. I reluctantly agreed, as I knew Hangtown was pretty over my head as far as my ability level goes, and I'd only been riding motocross for a few months, but I figured, what the heck, I gotta learn somehow, you know? Well, I head over to his house first thing in the morning, and we start making our way towards Hangtown. It was super early, like 5 or 6, but we had to swing by the gas station on the way so that we could grab some energy drinks. I bought 2, not 1, but 2 of those huge rock stars with the twisty tops. Yeah, those ones. And kids, let me tell you, drinking an insane amount of energy drinks right before you go ride a national track for the first time is a bad idea. I was so freaking stressed out and like shaky, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. But anyway, when we got to the track, I go ahead and unload my clapped out 2002 YZ252 stroke from the truck. I gear up in some mismatched gear. I was probably running like a t-shirt and some like Fox pants. Dude, I was a total like goon at the time. It's amazing. Probably running way too much oil in my fuel and smoking everyone out on the track. I head out for my first little practice track. The track was super muddy at the time because it was the first practice of the day, and they also ripped it super deep, and it was just super muddy. Everyone was pretty much riding around with their feet down for like the first couple laps. Over on the back of the track, like right before the old finish line jump, used to be this little double after the straightaway. It's kind of where that like half pipe thing is now at Hangtown, but it used to be a little double. Anyway, this is probably like my 3rd lap on the track, so I'm obviously feeling pretty spicy, especially with 600 milligrams of caffeine running through my veins. So as I come up to the jump, I decide that, you know, instead of rolling it, I'm good. I got 3 laps under my belt. I'll double it. I'll jump it. Again, this double's like 20 feet. Okay, this is nothing. This is not a big deal. 20, maybe 25, 30 feet. Well, because I have literally no idea what I'm doing at this point in my motocross career, I case the crap out of it. I land right in the face of the second one, and I do that little like sideways bounce thing where it kind of, you land sideways on the ground and it like tank slaps you on your face. So I land, I case it, I crash, I land face down. It's not a big deal, you know, I'm just laying there on my face. It's fine. I remember laying there on the ground, like face in the mud, and I put my hands down to like do a push-up to stand up. And as soon as I put my hands under my chest, bam! Some dude comes flying over the double. He jumped the double because he has more skill than I did. Landed right on my back. His front tire hit me in the side of the thigh, and his back tire landed right on my lower back. Dude, I had skid marks. I'm not even kidding. I had like knobby skid marks up my back for months after that. It was almost like a tattoo. It was actually kind of cool. I wish it wouldn't have gone away. As soon as he hit me, the first thing that I noticed actually that hurt the most was my thigh. There was like an actual dent in the side of my thigh for months after that. But then after a few minutes, my back started to hurt really bad. He obviously wadded up pretty good as he just landed on a human. And he totally like cartwheeled, and which I felt pretty bad about, but he landed like 10, 15 feet away from his bike. But as soon as he landed, he just got up and ran towards me and rolled me over and wanted to see if I was, what I'm assuming he wanted to make sure I wasn't dead. After a few minutes of me rolling around on the ground in pain, I decided that I was okay enough to get up, and I walked back to the truck. My friend came over and pushed my bike back to the truck. I sat there and tried to recompose myself and just kind of get a hold of myself with the pain. It hurt so bad, but I did what any sane person would do. I got back on the bike and I wanted to go back out on the track. Yeah, it's probably not my smartest decision. Ultimately, I don't think I lasted like a quarter lap. I couldn't even take any bumps or anything. I had to get off the track. So I ended up packing everything back up and heading home. That day and night consisted of some of the most miserable pain I've ever felt in my life. The only other time that I've ever really felt that much pain was probably when I broke my tailbone, which I can share in another video. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. Anyway, I didn't go to the doctors or anything, which was, again, not a good idea. I just kind of dealt with the pain for a while, took lots of pain meds, and just figured, I don't know, my back hurt. I got landed on with a dirt bike. Like, there's pain. I don't know what you want. It hurt. Well, 6 months later, yes, I said 6 months. I went to the doctors because I was having some kidney issues, which turned out to be related to this, by the way. Through that process, they did an MRI of my back to try and diagnose what was going on with my kidneys. Where I remember the doctor came back and was like, well, we don't really know what's going on with your kidneys, but did you know that your back's broken? I remember responding, no. So he pulled the scans out and showed me, and sure enough, my T8 vertebrae had a huge chunk that was just snapped off and like kind of just floating in the abyss. It started to kind of reconnect itself, and my T4 through my T8 vertebrae all had some super bad compression. Like all the cartilage was just gone and they were just rubbing each other. Since I waited so long, there was really nothing that they could do to fix it. So to this day, I have pretty bad back pain, and still that side of my vertebrae is just kind of chunked off. Anyway, guys, that's the story of how I broke my back at Hangtown. If you enjoyed this type of video, please let me know. I have all kinds of stories. Leave a like, smack that subscribe button, just like give her a big, you know what I mean? And I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Woo!